Hello everyone, it's Q back again with my friend, and today I want to explain to everyone the fundamentals of investment in skins in CSGO and how you should approach investing skins in CSGO, and 3 different categories of skin traders in CSGO itself. So I would like to break down these 3 categories to everyone and roughly explain what each of them are so you can identify yourself into each of these 3 categories. So the first category I will classify is the Playskins user. So this user wants to make money off of CSGO skins, but he doesn't want to invest in things like cases or things that cannot be played with, like sticker capsules or even stickers. They want to invest in tangible skins like AK skins like this Nightwish, or other skins that they can actively play with and know that they are making money off of while they are playing CSGO as time progresses. Secondly, there is the total into nerd trader. So the nerd traders don't really care about what skins they play with in CSGO. They're fine with playing with vanilla skins, but they're fine with investing in things like cases and capsules and stickers just for the extra profit and higher profit margins that they can possibly achieve from investing. Now the last category that I will have is just a combination of these two. Now I would say the number of people who are this category are actually the lowest in CSGO, because you have to be very rich to be able to afford good play skins while still investing properly in CSGO through capsules and cases. So let me break down and explain each of the categories now in detail. So as for the first category, there are a few actual tips and pointers that I would like to point out when you want to invest in a skin. So the first rule that takes the highest precedence is, when you invest in a play skin, the most important thing for a play skin to retain value is its popularity and overall aesthetic. Now I want to say first, this is not based on just your own taste, as everybody's opinion is different, but what you should do is you go online and research on a common consensus of whether a skin is actually desirable. Usually, desirable skins will usually retain and increase in value over time better. The second condition, of course, which is also important, is how old the skin actually is and what collection it is from. Now, the common concept and idea is that the older a skin, the more expensive it gets. Now this may be true, but not all skins are like that. A common example that I would like to show everybody is the Orb Medusa. Now the Orb Medusa is a very old skin, and the thing is, it is expensive, as you can see, very expensive, but it's a really old skin, and it came from the operation simultaneously in the same time as Dragon Law, the Gods and Monsters and the Dragon Law, as well as the Akihabara Accept. Now, as you can see, the price difference between a Dragon Law and a Medusa is like 4 times. Now, if I were to search for a Dragon Law price, so the roughly a factory new Medusa is like 6,000. I'm just pointing out to everybody. As for Dragon Law, which is a lot more popular and a lot more people consider nicer than the Medusa, see, look, the field tested version of a Dragon Law is the price of a factory new Medusa, roughly. So this really goes to show how far popularity, which was my first factor, comes into play when investing in play skins. You have to ensure that your skin is nice, because no matter how much how old your skin is, if it's not nice, the price won't rise up that high. That's just a fact. So it has to look good and be old for you to mix up and create a perfect outcome. So let me give you guys a few examples of what skins are actually like that. So Glock Fade. Glock Fade is old and it's expensive because it's from the Assault collection, which is extremely old, no longer dropping, and it's extremely expensive because it's nice as well. If Glock Fade was ugly, it will be like any other old collection, which will just have a bit of value just because it's an old skin, but it will nowhere be close to 1,200 USD, not even close. Now of course, the last factor I will have when investing in play skins, of course, is, I would say, the actual skin it is on. Now what do I mean by this? As you can see, the Glock fade is actually on the Glock. Now there's actually a so-called tier list on how skin prices actually average across on what kind of guns you use. So of course, more popular guns will usually retain better value when you're investing in skin. So I would say things that usually are more expensive than others will be like rifles, ops, AKs, M4A4s, M4A1S, especially at this point in time. These kind of skins will usually be more expensive than things like SMGs, heavy weapons. These kind of things, they are not really so essential and relevant, although they are still important in the game. People just prefer skins on their AKs and ops. So on average, if you actually see, prices on ops and AKs are just more expensive, even though the patterns are the same. If you compare UMP fade to op fade, well, although they are completely different, actually that's not a viable argument, I'm going to cut that out of the video. But anyway, when you invest in skins, the whole point is these three factors as a Playskins investor is extremely important. As for the actual entry point of a Playskins investor, I would say if you want to make good money, you will actually have to have some form of cash investment that is of decent amount. I would say like at least $100. You have to at least have $100. And I would suggest you start with operation skins that are in lower rarity tiers from collections like Shatterweb. Because we all know the Shatterweb collection has very good skins like the Op Prince and Op Gungnir and the AK Wild Lotus. All these skins are extremely desirable and they are rare. And they are so-called old because in terms of skin age is not just the value of how old it actually is, but also how many and what the quantity of the skin is actually in the market currently. If there's very few, then it's also considered very desirable if it's a nice skin. That's why it's very expensive. So that's all I have for Playskins investors, because Playskins investors usually needs a higher entry point. So I would say that you have to actually be just a bit on the average to higher tier side if you want to make good profit. Of course, you can enter in with a low budget, but I would say if you want to make profits and still be very so-called, you want to care a lot about the look of your skin itself, you may not actually profit that much from the overall investment over a short period or medium period of time. You have to wait very long. Second category, of course, is the case and capsules investors. Now, I love this category because firstly, it's a very low entry point. Cases are very cheap compared to skins. Capsules most of the time are also very cheap compared to skins. So you can have a very low budget and afford to make a lot of money over a course of a while, of a short period of time or even long period of time. So I would say that for cases though, you may want to invest in just a few. You don't want to just invest in one type of case. So you don't just want to invest in like one of every case in CSGO. Now while that may be good, because overall I'm sure you'll profit, but if you want to make more profits, you should invest more in the same quantity of case. You just increase the amount that you invest in. For example, so all the hype currently now is around the Gamma case, because Gamma cases are officially, if I'm not wrong, phased out, so you can no longer get them from drop rates. That's why the price is increasing. As you can see, the skins in the case are not very desirable other than the Desolate Space. But what is actually the driving force for this case is the skins in the knife finishes. So that's why this price of the case is just keep going up. Same for the Gamma 2. It's just gonna keep going up. And you see it's only 83 cents. So I would say that people can have a much better opportunity investing. The only con is that, like what I said, you cannot actually play with a case other than opening it. And if you open it, you lose your profit. So why would you open it in the first place? So that's why I prefer this kind of investment. If you are truly in CSGO to make money and invest and eventually get a good skin or sell for real cash, this is the way to go. Low entry point, great potential. Of course, you have to do your own research. So the few factors that I would say inflict and affect the case price is whether it's in the active drop pool. So if you're curious of whether a case is in the active drop pool, just Google. Google will tell you what cases are in the active drop pool, and then you can make your decision from there. And the case prices will naturally, right, be more expensive for those that have been very old and have good finishes, whether it be the reds or the pinks, or it can be the knives like the Gamma case. So you have to ensure the case you invest in actually has good finishes in the case, which is the most important condition. Same for skins investing. They share a common factor in which you have to both invest where the case and the skins must have good looks inside of the case and skin respectively. You have to have a nice skin for the price to definitely increase very nicely, and you have to have a nice case where the skins inside are nice looking. That's just how it is. You cannot invest in an ugly skin and expect it to profit as much as a nice skin. They are both of similar age. The nice skin will just increase better. So I would say investing in things like glove cases, considering it's from 2016. Operation cases, see look, the Wildfire case is really old. But the reason why it's not expensive as the glove case is very simple. Because the Wildfire case doesn't have as many good skins as the glove case. Now the glove case actually doesn't have very nice skins in it. Like look at it. The skins are cheap. But what are the gloves inside bring the true potential? Like Pandora's boxes, the most expensive gloves in CSGO. Spearmints. There's so many. And the potential for the profit you receive is so high because the max for Pandora's boxes is like $60,000. So that's why it's so expensive. Now, the second factor I would say I will have for opening cases is actually, I will not say opening cases, but investing in these kind of things is the amount that is out there. So again, it goes back to, it relates to age. Because if it's a very popular case, a lot of people will open it every day. Naturally, the opening will be very high. So you have to monitor. When the number of cases in existence falls below a critical mass, the price will spike a lot. So that's when you should invest. You should invest right before that. So this requires quite a bit of research and monitoring. But the potential for profits is really high. Because you know when the case is going to spike. Just because there's such a high rate of opening, and because the number of cases out there is strictly decreasing, because you cannot receive it from drops anymore, and people are opening it, so it's always decreasing. You know that you can make profit. So this is safe. It's a safe bet to profit, as well as a good way to invest. Low entry point, low risk, good rewards. The only really bad thing about it is that I would say is it takes time to actually grow into substantial values. That's it. Now the last way, of course, is just a combination of these two things. I would say you need a lot of money for this to be able to afford a good Playskins inventory that will give you good dividends, as well as having a lot of investments that will rake in excellent dividends as well. It's not very easy to obtain. Now, I will classify these kind of people usually as content creators who are actually relatively large. So a few examples would be Jesus, One Pixel, Anomaly. These kind of case content creators who have already established a player base and an active watch base and have a lot of money to be able to afford to invest in this kind of thing. They'll have a good mix of both, and that's how I would say it's the best way to make profit, because obviously you tie both of them together. But the entry point is so high, I suggest that most people like me and you, we just enter in through the first two ways. It's the most viable way to begin investing in CSGO. Now, as for where you start to buy the skins as a Playskins, or if you want to buy your capsules, I would suggest you don't buy off of the Steam market. That's just wasting your money. You can buy off of skin trading third-party websites, so things like Buff. If you have access to a mainland Chinese credit card, it gives you the best deals by far. If you have access or you have a broker, someone who's a middleman, the rates are just the best. The prices are the cheapest, and you can easily get the best profit margins if you buy on bar. The second one I'll say that is endorsed by many people is Skimport, because Skimport allows many people to sell. It's accessible like almost everywhere, and they also tune into your local prices for me, like for everybody. They have a huge market that sells like CSGO, Dota, all these kind of different skins. Just saying, I'm not endorsed in any way to any of these websites. I'm just suggesting ways you can save money, because they actually sell skins cheaper than in the Steam market, so you can save money when you invest. And this is not just for skins. You can buy cases. So let's, for example, Gamma case. If you want to buy cases to open, it's cheaper here, for sure. On the Steam market, for me, it's like 80 cents, 84 cents. Here is 60 cents. You save like 25%. So that's why there's always a good and better way to optimize investing. It's through these small little techniques that will really optimize your profit margins and make your profit margins a lot larger than it actually would have been. So these are most of the tips that I have for you guys today. By the way, just one more tip. Try not to use trading sites, because trading sites actually, especially bot trading sites, because they actually take like a cut off of how much you spend. Only use it in desperate measures. If you want to trade your skins to like invest in cases, for example, when you cannot find a real-time buyer or something like that. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys actually apply these tips and actually invest properly and make some money. I'll be glad if you guys can even send me and give me some feedback on whether you guys actually profited from following some of these tips that I've given you guys. I would really appreciate it. So thank you everyone for watching. Subscribe, like, and peace.